All right, guys, we are on week 5 of building a 4-second streetcar. So far, we have got the engine out and torn apart. That front one's definitely the worst. Got the rear end out and torn apart. Then all the brackets pulled off. Oh, yeah, that's a decent amount of shit. And the new brackets from Tin Soldier race cars slid on there. The transmission's out. This thing is almost down to a complete shell. So what we are working on this week, making room for all those Tin Soldier brackets, because it needs a hell of a lot more room than what a factory Camaro provides. So we're gonna have to take a grinder or a plasma cutter that I got right there and cut from basically here. I got a line set up all the way back to where my fuel cell sits. We got a lot of stuff to get out of the way before we start cutting. Fuel cell, all kinds of stuff, so we don't catch anything on fire and make some explosions.
Power tonight is still out. Boom, and then arc, bam, that fire was coming everywhere. It was arcing, sparking, blowing up.
First thing we're gonna start with, we're gonna get this transmission cooler out and the lines, and then we'll lower it down, get my fuel cell out, and then the fuel lines out, and then we're gonna have to start pulling out the interior. All right, brake line is out. We managed to get brake fluid all over this fender, but this is now the cleanest fender on the car. And we got the trans cooler out. So since we got it down, we're gonna go ahead and get this fuel cell out of there. I'm pretty sure I have a full tank in here from when we did the mile per gallon video. That comes out to 13.8 miles per gallon. That is not at all what I expected to see. We'll have to drain the fuel out somehow and get these fuel lines out there so we don't cause a massive explosion. Trying to avoid all explosions at all costs. Fire me up. Just a little redneck, but hey, whatever works. It ain't stupid if it works. Pump don't sound too hot, but it's working. These jumper cables are like coated in oil, so that's nice. Well, I'm not thrilled about having a grinder back in my hands again, but we gotta cut this bracket off that goes across. That was for the old 4-link, so we'll get it cutting again. Hopefully, I don't have to use this grinder too much more today. Well, we're to the point now where I need to drill some holes in this thing and start cutting. And I have been postponing this long enough. I'm just nervous about it. I don't like cutting into this car, but I'm gonna have to do it. I know it's inevitable. So I'm gonna start drilling holes where we're gonna come across the back here, and I'm gonna drill some holes going up through here and then across and all the way around so that I know exactly where I need to cut. I'm gonna try to start out with just the Sawzall to see how that does, and we might still end up using the plasma cutter. I am nervous as shit. All right, there goes nothing. Wow. Well, this thing's a piece of shit. Well, there ain't no going back now. Just knocked it back.
It's got a hole in it now. Are you gonna cry?
It's a done deal, brother.
Hey, I found your Sawzall blade. Hey, you got a hole in your floor.
Yeah, I do, balls. Holy shit. What did I do? Oh my God. Oh. What just happened?
I think it's a kind of, you cut your floor up.
I can't believe that just happened. How did that escalate so quickly? I mean, that's a whole lot of damage in like no time. Well, there's definitely 100% no going back now. There is a massive hole. And we're not even all the way done cutting. All right, I'm starting to clean everything up and I feel a little bit better about it now. You gotta chop this off. I think we'll end up welding. I got this one cut out a little bit more. I think I'll end up cutting this out and then like welding the plate in there to make it look nice. We're making some progress. I'm starting to feel a little bit better about it, but I'm still hurting inside quite a bit. It sucks cutting into it, but I know it's for a really good cause and it's gonna look really sweet when it's done. It's gonna be fabrication porn is what it's gonna be. Okay, I've done a ton of measurements for the last couple hours and I've got my axle center line marked. I put the tire up in here, got it centered perfect on both sides, and made that mark in between. I also found the center line of the front of the car, so that's what that mark is down there. And we measured back to where I have my center line marked on either side, and it's 1/8 of an inch off. It's not perfect, but that is as close as it gets to perfect. And then it says from 10 Soldier race cars, you want 21 to 23 inches from the center of the housing to the front side of this lower bracket chassis mount. So what I did is I measured back and I got that tape right there marked all the way across, and then I measured from the front side of that bar to the back side on that bracket there, and I measured, it's about 1 inch. So I got that marked now, and I got this sweet freaking laser. You can see the beam right there off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. And dude, this thing has made this project way easier. It's gonna make it to where I can get up underneath here with a grinder. I'll show you guys. It marks on the bottom of the car. So I'm just gonna take the grinder and cut that perfect line all the way across. It's also gonna make that cut on the back perfect. So we're gonna make that cut on that front, and then Jeff is gonna come over tomorrow and we're gonna measure out what that lower bar needs to be. Bottom bar here, and then this top bar sits like this in the car, and that's gonna go from each frame rail on the bottom, and then it's gonna come down from that bar on the cage and that bar on the cage, and it's just gonna loop around and then hold the top of that bracket in. Got the laser marked on the back side of where the spring is gonna mount, so I gotta cut along that laser right there all the way across. And that should get this cut right here nice and perfect, I'm hoping. All right, guys, all this stuff is cleaned up as much as I can for now. I have those 2 bars bent up by the end of this week, and then we're gonna probably tack those in there. One's gotta be bent for the drive shaft loop down there, and then the other one will come around the back, and then we'll be able to tack those brackets in, and then we can tack the rear end brackets on, and then map out some more bars. They're gonna go like an X brace up in here. It's gonna be a lot of interesting fabrication and really test out my TIG welding skills, but that'll be for next week's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back next week to see what we tear up. I'll see you later. Oh, and look at what I got just recently. So I think that's gonna go right through the top of the license plate and sit in there like that for a nice, sweet parachute.